Good morning, FCCLA students. This video is in place of our meeting that we were supposed to have this morning to give you some additional information about competition tomorrow. So competition is tomorrow, Friday. You are field tripped out all day. We should arrive back to York around 2:30, but that's going to depend upon when the last competitions wrap up. In the morning, please report to Labregad, room A126 at 7:30 so we can start taking attendance. We will be loading buses around 7:45 and hoping to depart York by 8 a.m. Please don't plan on having a lot of time in the morning to get ready unless you plan to get to York early. I will get there early and have all the labs opened up if you need to do any kind of last minute things. But please just make sure you plan accordingly since there won't be a ton of time in the morning to do things. If you need to grab any equipment, if you need to grab any uniform things, again, please get there early. What do you need to bring tomorrow to COD? Please remember that this is a professional event. You need to be dressed professionally, and there is a dress code. So at minimum, you should be wearing dress pants or a dress skirt and a dress top. FCCLA recommends a red, white, or black button-down shirt or polo shirt. You will have to adhere to that at the state conference. You also can wear a uniform if that's appropriate for your event. Our culinary students and children's literature students, if you have a costume that you're wearing for your presentation, that's fine. When you're not wearing the costume, though, you should be dressed professionally. So like at minimum tomorrow, khaki pants and a polo shirt would be acceptable. Please make sure you bring everything that you need for your competition. COD does not provide anything for you. So if you need a stapler, if you need note cards, if you need, sanitizing wipes, things like that, all of that needs to be packed and ready to go with you on the bus in the morning. Lunch tomorrow will be on your own because you're competing at different times, kind of all over the COD campus, and I'll give you a tour of the maps here in a minute. But lunch tomorrow is on your own. You should bring money to buy something in the cafeteria or bring yourself a lunch. Lastly, a few kind of important pieces of information just about competition. Please know your event guidelines. You don't want to walk in tomorrow already having lost points because you forgot something. You didn't remember that you had a specific size requirement for your display. You didn't know that you had to have a note card with your name and your cake decorating theme printed on it. Things like that. Don't walk in having lost points already because you're not dressed professionally or you have not looked at that competition rubric recently. So if you are looking for your competition rubrics, again, you can find those on the IllinoisFCCLA.org website. Click on State Proficiency Events. And then if you scroll through this page, you'll be able to find all the documents associated with your event. Sometimes there are multiple documents. So for example, the event specifications, maybe there's a lesson plan form, maybe the rubric, and then sometimes there are rubric specifications as well. So make sure to look over all the documents for your event. If you are in a STAR event, you'll need to refer to the competitive events guide if you need a copy of your event guidelines and rubric. Tomorrow, when we begin loading buses, bus 1 is going to be all of the culinary students, as well as the interior design students. Pat, you'll be on bus 1 as well. Myself and Mrs. McDonough will be chaperoning you on that bus. I'll be making sure that all of our culinary competitors get to where they need to go. And then Mrs. McDonough will help Pat and the interior design students find their rooms. Bus 2 is going to be Miss Foss, Mrs. Christ, and all of the preschool lesson, children's literature presentation students, and professional career image students. You're going to follow Miss Foss, and she will make sure that you get off to your room. And then Miss Callan will also be on bus 2 with all of the fashion students, and she will be making sure that the fashion students get to where they need to go. So tomorrow at COD, like I said, we're kind of spread out all over campus, but everything takes place in kind of the main buildings, the SRC Student Resource Center, and then the Berg Instructional Center, the BIC. They're attached through this building, SSC, the Seton Computing Center, but you'll be able to get to and from the SRC and the BIC indoors without having to go outside. So when we get there tomorrow, buses will be dropping everybody off at the main entrance of the SRC, which is right outside of the bookstore. That's a good landmark if you're confused on where you are. When we get dropped off, our fashion construction students will go down and to the right, and your fashion events will be here. If you are looking for Mrs. Merrick, she will be running events in this area, first floor of the SRC. The fashion apparel display students, you're also kind of right here. You'll go down the stairs and to the left, and your event will be in this walkway here. The fashion apparel display event will be set up here. This walkway also helps you get over to other parts of the SRC building. And then the BIC building is like the big long building. It attaches over here on the SRC. The cafeteria is kind of opposite here. So if you are looking to purchase lunch, you can do so here at the cafeteria. And then all of our culinary students will be going up the stairs and to the right, and you will be having your events in SRC 2000. It's a huge kind of conference center space, so you'll all be competing in there all at one time. You'll be able to wait here at the lobby outside of SRC 2000 until you're allowed in to set up for your event. I will be here in SRC 2000 running fondant cakes, and Mrs. McDonough and Miss Callan will be judging for me. So we will be in the area by the culinary events. At the end of the day, starting between 1 and 1:30, if you have competed and your event has wrapped up and you've been dismissed, you should be reporting here to the lobby area outside of SRC 2000. That's where we will start collecting you. And then as soon as we have everybody, all the events are wrapped up, then we'll be departing to come back to York. All right. The competitions happening in the BIC are as follows. On the first floor of the BIC, Say Yes to FCS Education and Interior Design Star Events. On the second floor of the BIC, the Food Innovation Competition. And then on the third floor of the BIC is our preschool lesson competitions, children's literature presentation, and it's not listed on this page, but the professional career image event is also on the third floor. So again, when we get to COD, teachers will help to kind of get you over to the area where your event is. And then as soon as the person in charge of the event gets there, they'll be letting you know what time your competition is. So for example, children's literature presentation students, you may not be competing until later in the day. As soon as you have checked in to see what time your event is happening at, then you can kind of, go get food on your own. But please make sure you report back to your competition room at least a half hour before your event starts. A lot of times we're running ahead of schedule and the judges want to get you, moving through that list of students that they have to judge. Alrighty, if there are any questions, please reach out to your FCS teacher via email this morning if you have questions. If you need anything to pull in the morning, again, please just make sure you're getting there early. If you have, any kind of last minute needs before tomorrow, let's try to sort those out today. We're really looking forward to see how you guys do tomorrow at competition. Please make sure tomorrow at COD that you guys are staying safe, you're being respectful. Please try to stay with somebody from COD, from York at all times. Please try to make sure that, if something does happen, you're finding one of us as soon as possible. Please make sure that you remember you're representing York. You're representing FCCLA. COD lets us use their facilities for free, so we want to make sure that we're respectful and we're professional tomorrow throughout the day. We're really looking forward to seeing how you do, and we'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.